The girl who steals down the hall to locker 89, enters the combination she's known by heart for years, ever since the combination list was left briefly unattended on the admin officer's desk one evening, and collects letters and bills like tax. The girl who spends her nights filtering strangers' stories through unbiased eyes before sending carefully composed instructions via the burner email account she made in 9th grade. They don't know, because nobody in school knows. I'm the only one who knows my secret. Or I was, anyway, up until this very moment. I had the sinking inkling that was about to change, though, because even though I'd checked the halls for stragglers or staff members like I always did barely 20 seconds ago, I was 13,000% sure I'd heard someone clear their throat somewhere in the vicinity of directly the fuck behind me, while I was elbow deep inside a very much unlocked locker 89. Crap. Even as I turned around, I was optimistic enough to hope for the best. Part of the reason why I'd gotten by without detection for so long was the locker's convenient location, right at the foot of a dead-end L-shaped hallway. There'd been close calls in the past, but the sound of the heavy entry doors swinging closed had always given me plenty of notice to hide the evidence. The only way someone would be able to sneak up on me was if they'd come out of the fire escape door leading from the pool. And no one used the pool this late in the day. From the looks of the very wet guy standing behind me, though, I'd made a fatal miscalculation. Apparently, someone did use the pool this late in the day. Well, fuck. I knew him. Or at least, I knew of him. His name was Alexander Brougham, although I was pretty sure he usually went by Brougham. He was a senior and good friends with Finn Park, and by all accounts one of the hottest seniors at St. Deodatus's. Up close, it was clear to me said accounts were categorically false. Brougham's nose looked like it had been badly broken once, and his navy blue eyes were opened almost as wide as his mouth, which was an interesting look because his eyes were kind of bulgy to begin with. Not goldfish level, but more like my eyelids are doing their best to swallow my eyeballs whole type of bulgy. And as aforementioned, he was wet enough that his already dark hair looked black, and his t-shirt stuck to his chest in damp see-through patches. "Why are you soaking?" I asked, folding my arms behind my back to hide the letters and leaning against locker 89 so it closed behind me. "You look like you fell in the pool." This was probably one of the few situations where a sopping wet, fully clothed teenager standing in the school hallway an hour after dismissal wasn't the elephant in the room. He looked at me like I'd said the stupidest thing in the world, which seemed unfair given I wasn't the one who was wandering around the school halls literally dripping. "I didn't fall in the pool. I was swimming laps." "With your clothes on?" I tried to shove the letters down the back of my skirt without moving my hands, but that was a more complex task than I'd anticipated. Brougham surveyed his jeans. I used the brief distraction to ram the letters inside the band of my tights. In hindsight, this was probably never going to go far in convincing him he hadn't just seen me digging through locker 89, but until I had a better excuse, denial was all I had. "I'm not that wet," he said. Today was apparently the first time I'd heard Alexander Brougham speak, because until just now I'd had no idea he had a British accent. I understood his wide appeal now. Oriella, my favorite relationship YouTuber, once dedicated a whole video to the topic. People with perfectly good taste in partners historically had their senses addled in the presence of an accent. Setting aside the messiness of which accents were considered sexy in which cultures and why, accents in general were nature's way of saying, procreate with that one, their gene code must be varied as fuck. Few things, it seemed, could turn a person on as quickly as the subconscious realization they almost certainly weren't flirting with a blood relative. Thankfully, Brougham broke the silence when I didn't reply. "I didn't get time to dry off properly. I'd just finished up when I heard you out here. I thought I might catch the person who runs locker 89 if I snuck through the fire escape. And I did." He looked triumphant, like he'd won a contest I was only now realizing I'd been participating in. That was, incidentally, my least favorite facial expression, as of right this moment. I forced a nervous laugh. "I didn't open it. I was putting a letter in." "I just saw you close it." "I didn't close it. I just banged it a little when I was sliding the letter inside."